This is the plaintiff, Cynthia Bailey. She says she rented a house from the defendant, and when she moved in with her son, they were horrified to discover the place was infested with mice. Yuck! She stayed there for one night, moved out because it was an unhealthy environment, and now the defendant won't return her $2,219.62, the amount she's suing for. This is the defendant, Larry Seglin. He says this woman stopped payment on the rent and security check she gave him. Now she's suing him? Please. The woman moved in, told him there was a problem with the heat. He made a service appointment to get it fixed, and then she says she's moving out. This woman stole from him. He's the one who's owed money today, not her. He's accused of Mickey Mousing around. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $1,500, the amount of rent he's owed.
All parties, please raise your right hand. The court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Ms. Bailey, what happened?
I met the defendant a couple of times. He seemed like a very nice gentleman. Went to the house. It was a complete mess. There was some
Well,
young
back
lady,
up. You had decided that you were moving from Massachusetts to, from North Carolina to Massachusetts, right?
Yes, yes.
And who were you moving with?
I was moving in with my son.
Okay. You find this place.
Yes. And it was a complete mess inside. There was a woman that had been living there, from what Mr. Ziegler said, for 7 years. There was a dog in a cage that was so abused. It was just pathetic. There was a lot of stuff left in there, and he told me to come back and he will have it cleaned up. And I asked him to remove the rugs that were in the bedroom. They were disgusting looking. And when we moved in, we didn't spend the first night there. The second day I moved in, I used the washer and it worked partially. And when I put the clothes in the dryer, the whole room in the bathroom, that's where the washer and dryer were, in the bathroom, the whole room steamed up. And I proceeded.
What is this a picture of?
That's mice droppings in a kitchen cabinet. Again, kitchen cabinet. That's the bedroom floor. Bedroom floor. That is the filth from the sliders, inside and outside. Again, that's how filthy the house was, inside and outside of the slider.
Okay, but when you rented the place, I mean, you're describing how you're ripping out carpets and you saw the mold, and yet you ended up deciding to take it, right?
This was a week or so before that I was there.
So you expected this stuff to be what? That there would be new carpet laid down for you?
Cleaned, yes. And he told me his daughter was there helping him clean. I believe she power washed the outside of the house, which she should have been helping on the inside of the house. But there's a picture of the dryer, behind the washer and dryer, that is disgraceful.
So apparently this is what put you over the edge. Not the mice, not the mice droppings, but this. Okay, and what is this?
This is behind the washer and dryer. The vent hose was not hooked up to the dryer, and that's what caused all the steam in the bathroom. And when I pulled that out, I was just so disgusted, so disgusted. We slept there one night, and my son got so congested from just the bad quality of air in the home.
Yeah.
So
what did you do?
I went to the town Board of Health, and they had them inspect the house. And they wrote up a report that he could not rent the house until things were brought up to code. The air quality was awful.
Did you not notice this stuff before you moved in?
The first time I moved in, it was just filthy from the previous tenant. Well, the tenant that was still living there, but he had cleaned it.
The first time you saw it, not the first time you moved in. The first time you saw it, the other tenant was living there. But then you show up on the day. I mean, do you look at it before you? Are you arriving with a U-Haul from North Carolina?
Yes. No, I was actually in a motel for a month.
And where was your stuff?
In a U-Haul trailer at my mother's house for a month.
Before you moved in?
Yes. Yes. I needed to
And when
find
did you move in?
location.
What month did you move in?
November 1st, I started moving stuff in.
So when do you demand your money back from him? Did you call the city first and then call him, or did you call him and then call the city?
I called him and called the city.
You called him and said what?
That I can't live here anymore. After seeing what was behind the washer and dryer and my son being congested the next day after one night of sleeping in there, we couldn't do it. We could not do it.
And what was his response? Too bad, so sad, or okay, I'll refund your money?
He said, you should be thankful that I'm willing to give you your money back. That's what his comment was.
So you didn't like his tone?
What I didn't like his tone is when we were in the washer and dryer room and I was trying to help him with the washer and he was getting agitated and he put up his hand like, just stop talking. That's when I realized, he turned. He wasn't that nice guy that I met.
Okay. Mr. Seglin, what happens with the money? She tells you she wants her money back, and what do?
I gave her money back.
And when did you give her money back?
She told me, I think it was either Sunday night or Monday of that weekend she moved in. Then when she told me whether it was Sunday night or Monday night, I was thinking, well, geez, we have a tenant at will agreement. You're supposed to give me 30 days notice. It's fine. See, I had a tenant that was there up until about the beginning of October, and I've had a tenant there since December 1st. Everybody has a certain level of whatever. She came in with a couple dogs, I think.
Can I just ask you, let's
couple...
not get lost down some primrose path. I'm asking you, she tells you that this place is disgusting. There are mice. I can't live here. There is all this debris behind the dryer. And you say to her, all right, I'm going to give you your money back, but you're lucky I'm giving you your money back. So you give her money back, but you don't check to see if her check to you had cleared.
Correct.
What?
She gave me a $500 deposit on October 30th, which was Thursday. And what was your question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, right. Focus on my question. My question to you is, you end up giving her back the money, and as it turns out, she had stopped payment on the check, right?
The first $500 check cleared. The second one, when I got it, she gave it to me on Friday. I didn't get to the bank to deposit it, so I didn't deposit that check till Monday. And then she called me Monday night.
Right.
So and said, hey, I don't want the place.
Right, I get it. Right, I've got it. But, why don't you call your bank and see if the check cleared before you start giving her money?
Well, because banks don't know if something cleared or whatever. It takes a while. I
wouldn't have given her the money back until the check cleared. That way you're not at risk. But let's ask you, Ms. Bailey, what exactly was the confusion with the money, as you call it? What happened?
It wasn't really a confusion. I stopped the check because I was upset, clearly upset from the living conditions. I never should have went in the house, never should have put a box in the house. And I went to his bank.
Of course not.
Check, and I cashed the check. So he had somebody.
Yeah, but you stopped payment. You know that you stopped payment on your check. So if you know you stopped payment on your check, why did you cash his check?
I wanted him to be inconvenienced. I wanted him to take me to court so I could explain the situation because I was inconvenienced. I thought what he did was awful, completely awful. The living conditions.
I don't know what you're talking about. The place was a disaster, and you saw it with your own two eyeballs. You saw it. You know it was a disaster. I understand that you don't want to stay there. I wouldn't stay there either. And I understand that you demand your money back. I'll tell you where you lose me, where you stop payment and then cash his check, because that's what we call in common parlance theft. So you got the police involved because she wouldn't return your money. And then the police tell you it's a felony. And that's when she returns the money that she got a double payment for. All right. Now, you are suing today because you want to be recompensed for the following.
For being displaced, for not having some place to live.
You end up staying in a motel. You have a U-Haul I don't understand your U-Haul. Let's see. What's another 150.44 for?
I had because my car was packed with my belongings and the U-Haul was packed, I had to get another U-Haul to move that couch into the new place that I had.
So you found it on Craigslist or something?
Yes.
Why don't you just wait to pick it up when you had a place to put it? Because you're asking that he pay the additional $150. I understand that you ended up having to have a U-Haul keep the stuff, okay? But you didn't end up paying him rent. So why should you have a month of not paying rent but living? In other words, you want to live for free for November. Because if I order him to pay you $1,500 for the motel and he has already paid you back the $1,200 that you paid in rent, then ching ching, let the cash register ring. Then it's a bonanza for you and you live free the month of November. If you don't understand that, I can't explain it to you any further. Now you and I, Mr. Siegelin, let's discuss the Board of Health report, because I am a little bit concerned that you would attempt to rent out a place like this. I'm looking at it and I'm saying, okay, is it a few minor things? Everybody has a different threshold of how they want to live. In fact, I'll be honest with you. I was giving you every benefit of the doubt when I'm reading the report, because I don't like that she stopped payment and then cashed your check. I find it sleazy, okay? But when I look at this report, it's not just a bunch of minor things, okay? I'm reading this and it says, the exterior deck is missing a deck board, which makes it unsafe. That's like Landlord 101. The exterior staircase leading down to the lake has a few step treads that are unsafe. That's like somebody can get really hurt. The owner shall maintain the premises free from rodents. A bee's nest. We're not even talking about the mice. A bee's nest was visible inside the dwelling on the lower level in the ceiling. Rodent droppings were witnessed along the inside walls on the lower level. And you cannot rent this place until I schedule a reinspection to ensure full code compliance. So yes, you are correct, sir, that normally you're supposed to have 30 days notice before someone moves out. But on this counterclaim where you're suing for rent from her for November for not giving you 30 days notice, I have two answers. Number one, you already resolved that by giving her back November. But number two, I would never order her to pay that because the Board of Health has certified that you can't rent the place until you fix it. So on your counterclaim, that's easy, 0. And on her lawsuit against you, here I've got evidence that she had to pay a U-Haul to keep the stuff stored while she found a place to live. So that kind of is your responsibility, because that only happened because you were renting a place that couldn't be rented to her because it was unsafe. So I am going to order you to pay the plaintiff the $525.49, not the U-Haul because she decides to buy a couch that she likes, and certainly not the motel because you already gave her back rent for November, and that's what she should use to live in November. So my verdict is for the plaintiff in the amount of the $525.49. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So the plaintiff prevails in her lawsuit, but she only gets $525, not the $2,200 she was seeking. And the defendant in his countersuit gets nothing from the countersuit. So, Mr. Siegelin, you've learned that place was not able to be rented.
Yeah, I cleaned it up right after, just like I would have done at that point, that day that she said she wanted to leave. It did get, past the inspection.
Okay. Well, very good. All right. Ms. Bailey, you didn't get exactly what you were seeking, but you're going to get $525 back. Okay?
It's better than nothing. Yes, it helps a lot. Thank you.
Okay. Very good. That'll conclude the case. Now, time for a session of After the Verdict.
I really did not like that. I did not like how she stopped payment and then ran and cashed his check.
She saw the place and moved in anyway. I mean, really, she was pretty savvy. This landlord kind of ran into a tenant who had a black belt in I sue, the ancient Western art of self-defense. And she delivered. I mean, she asked for everything. She wanted her moving expenses. She wanted the hotel. She wanted a lot of damages.
She did. And the place, I mean, it was gross. It was gross when she started unpacking her U-Haul and her stuff.
Right.
Cold
Well,
yet.
apparently he turned it around pretty quickly. He says he had it rented by December 1st. And this all blew up in the mid or late November, right?
Right, but I'm sure he was pretty busy between the time she left and December 1st.
Right, and certainly, if you stop payment on your check that's going one way and then you take and cash the check coming the other way.
How does she not realize that's wrong? And she was indignant that she was getting called on it.
It's grand theft.
I wanted him to feel it. Oh.
Right, yeah, she could have gotten in real trouble for that.
Sure.
I'm glad that, everything worked out there. She gave the money
I don't know, I
back.
kind of thought she should get in trouble for it. I would have preferred that, because I thought that was pretty dishonest.
Well, it's felony territory at those numbers.
sure
at
is.
$2,000 plus.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, now, Susan wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, I pay a monthly cat fee of $5 for my 2 cats, and now there's a new owner who wants to charge me $25 a cat. Can they do that? Well, I'm assuming this is part of your lease. And if you have a lease, for example, that has 9 months to remain, then you should only have to pay the $5 until there's a new lease. When there's a new lease, the landlord can change the terms. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case inside the courtroom.